So just yesterday, we got a massive gameplay dump, hours upon hours of new footage of Fallout 76. If you're living under a rock and somehow missed all of that, I actually uploaded a video going over like a highlight reel, some of the coolest things I did in my gameplay. You can click on that little eye right now if you want to check that out. But if you are human, you may have actually missed a ton of various things from that gameplay. Even some things from my gameplay I didn't realize, and after posting it, a ton of you guys brought it to my attention. So in this video, what I'm going to be showing you are 25 just things that I found particularly interesting, hopefully you guys also find particularly interesting, that we discovered as a result of the massive gameplay dump for Fallout 76. Now, all of these aren't my own discoveries. Some of these I did take off of Reddit, but I actually found the footage it was corresponding to if that wasn't linked. And other things are just comments and messages you guys have sent me. Some of them I did actually find myself though. I'll have links with sources of everything down below. Some of this footage isn't my own, so I encourage you guys to maybe check out some of those clips if you do find what I show particularly interesting. But with that being said, here are 25 things that we found out from the Fallout 76 gameplay dump. In this game, as you actually reload shell-based weapons, or at least the hunting shotgun in particular, you will reload things one at a time. So you can put in 1, 2, or 3 shells and then continue using this without having to reload the entire thing. In Fallout 4, this is a pretty big issue with the lever action. After firing even just one time and having to reload one bullet, you'd have to go through the animation for reloading 5. It seems like they have fortunately fixed that in Fallout 76. So bobbleheads are now a consumable item. It's not clear if this is going to be for every single bobblehead, but for a number of the bobbleheads that were actually found, including in my footage and even in some of the other people's footage, it's a one-time use item that you can find in your aid section, and after using it, it'll be applied to your character for a certain amount of time. Of course, in previous Fallouts, finding a bobblehead and just actually picking it up would give you a permanent bonus. That still might be present in Fallout 76, but at least based off everything we know right now, only consumable bobbleheads are in this game. The Brotherhood of Steel are actually in Fallout 76. This is interesting. We kind of got some teases of this from the trailers in past. But through gameplay of several different people, we got instances where they were teased or talked about. In one such instance, somebody actually tweeted this to Pete Hines, and his reaction makes it seem like there might be more to this. They may actually have a considerable history and lore explained in this game. And they kind of need to, because if you actually look at the existing lore for the Brotherhood of Steel, it's not really plausible that they're in West Virginia at this time. Based on lore established with Fallout 1 and Black Isle Studios, the Brotherhood of Steel were only just branching out onto the West Coast in 2150. This game, Fallout 76, takes place in 2102, 48 years before that. Did they somehow traverse the whole US in that time, or are they maybe a splinter group? Either way, it's particularly interesting, and this retconning actually has a lot of fans upset while other ones are happy. In-game, you actually can't zoom all the way out to get a full view of Fallout 76's map, but some people have actually stitched together multiple shots of it from multiple different gameplays to get a really good look at what the entire map of Fallout 76 is going to look like. This thing is particularly cool, and I think it gives you a really good idea of just the distinctive regions and locations that are present in this world. In my footage, I find a gas mask, and as I put that on, I actually get like one of those little notes in the corner of my screen which tells us that airborne diseases are going to be in this game and gas masks will protect against them. Apparently these can come from various weathers. I would assume if rad storms are still in this game, that would be one example, but also from hazards that maybe could be a nuclear blast or even just high levels of radiation in a certain area. So to wrap up the play session that we did have at the end of the 3 hours, they launched a nuke and they basically told everyone right into the nuke. For that reason, there's very few people that actually got a good idea as to how large it is because everyone was just sprinting into it. But at the end of one video, you could actually see just how wide of an area nukes impact. Who knows if this will actually go to the live version since we were playing on a dev build, but this is very close to the exit of Vault 76, and I could definitely see this impacting new players right as they leave the vault. During the interview from Xbox, you get a look at this thing called a cargo bot. I'm not entirely sure what it's doing, and we only get like a glimpse at it, but it definitely looks like it's going to pick up something, or maybe even drop off a power armor. If you look at the underside of this, it looks like maybe it'll pick up or drop off other robots, but it also kind of looks like it's one of those power armor crafting areas that you saw in Fallout 4. Either way, I just have a feeling this is going to play a large larger role than just another random robot that flies around and you attack. Do you like the Far Cry and or Assassin's Creed games? Well, one of the features that is in those games is making its way into Fallout 76. You can see in Matty's footage right before I gruesomely take him down that he actually goes into this little watchtower where he has the option to survey the area. Doing so will update your map with some of the surrounding locations. I'm not sure how common these little watchtowers are, but we even saw things like this in the trailer and it looked like there was quite a few of them throughout the world. This is an interesting one. In my gameplay, I actually pick up a hunting shotgun and you'll see an outline is left there. At first glance, that looks like an awesome feature. The bombs dropped and there was kind of dust or something going on that created an outline on this wall. But talking to some others, this also might just be a bug with ambient occlusion. After entering into my Pip-Boy, it actually does disappear, and there's a lot of reports of other people seeing the exact same thing with other items. So who knows, maybe it'll be in the final game, maybe it won't be. In some other footage while trading with a dev, you could actually see both 40mm grenades as well as the M79 grenade launcher. Unfortunately, as with many of these high-level items, we never get to see it in use, but this is going to be a lot of fun. This is one of the most popular mods for Fallout 4, and I'm pretty stoked that it made it into the base game of Fallout 76. One of the images teased on Twitter for Fallout 76 a while ago actually showed off a miscellaneous quest to go retrieve a supply drop. So the way this actually works is we could see in the gameplay, somebody takes down a feral ghoul and on them finds a US government supply requisition. This ghoul was taken down right outside the Greenbrier. I'm not sure if that's actually relevant to finding this loot on a ghoul, but interesting. You then have to take this and load it into a specific radio tower that is seemingly in the area of where you pick it up, and from there, a short while later, a supply drop will be placed down somewhere on the map. It seemed like the supply drop was fairly close to this person, but it wasn't actually super close. The supply drops themselves are actually dropped by a new kind of NPC known as Verde Bots, which is basically the traditional vertibird, but of course there's no human NPCs, so it's robot controlled. In one such supply drop, we actually see somebody find some tomahawks. Unfortunately, this is another one that the character never actually uses, but throwing weapons making their way into Fallout 76 should be a lot of fun. Apparently throwing knives were also spotted somewhere else, and it makes a lot more sense now as to why one of the nights at the Greenbrier there was tomahawk throwing. So for people that really like PvP, there's actually this really cool thing in the game called the Hunter v Hunted radio. It's a radio station that you can tune into and it'll be added as a quest that you can do. On a server, it seems like at least 4 people have to participate in this at a given time for it to be active. I couldn't find any gameplay of people actually using this, but it was described in an interview that after you're tuning into this, you'll get an assassination target. But you'll also be the target of another assassin. You don't know who's coming after you, it might actually be the same person you're going after. From here, you actually get better rewards for PvPing, and I would assume the slap system is disabled during this, although I don't think that was explicitly confirmed. Opossums are one of the new NPCs in this game, and maybe it's just me, but like it didn't look irradiated, it just kind of looked like a normal opossum. I thought that was kind of interesting and wanted to point that out. And based off their behavior in this clip, it seems like they're also going to be one of those maybe neutral enemies that will run away from you if you have a high level discrepancy, very similar to how Radstag work. During the gameplay, you could actually see this really cool looking Enclave armor. We do have a screenshot of it that gives you a nice look, but also during my gameplay, I actually encountered somebody wearing this. A lot of us were speculating there'd be a decent amount of lore surrounding the Enclave, considering the fact that under the Greenbrier, or White Springs Resort as it's called in game, there is a bunker that Congress was meant to retreat to in case of a nuclear attack in real life. I actually went to that bunker and you can't get in until you have a certain key card, but I bet down there's a lot of stuff Enclave related. Thus far, I've only seen footage of one vault, that with Vault 76, but actually during one of the videos, somebody mentions that talking to a Bethesda employee, there really is only one vault in Fallout 76. That, along with everything else I've talked about, is linked down below if you want to hear it for yourself. But more or less he says that with nukes in the world, you don't want to have places that you'll be safe from them, which was a weird answer to me. Obviously we have a bunker in the Greenbrier bunker or White Springs bunker, but as far as other vaults go, this seems like it's a confirmation that Vault 76 is the one and only one. Since going into your Pip-Boy no longer pauses the game, there's actually a way now to make it clear or just significantly more transparent so you could see through it. Unfortunately, in my gameplay, I could not for the life of me figure out how to do this, but it definitely seems like it'll be a useful tool, especially as you enter into combat. And then quickly realize you forgot to hotkey any of your weapons like I do all the time in Fallout 4. So we know there's vendor robots in this game, we've seen these even in Fallout 4, but there's actually types of vendor robots. One such type is a raider variant that will have kind of raider raider styled things within them. There's a few others that I've seen. Actually, I encountered one in my footage that was at a train station. This adds in even a further level of variability among traders in the game outside of just the traditional junk, equipment, food, etc. In Fallout 76, you could find modifications for your weapons and armor in the wild, just placed around as random loot. This is something that I wish we had in Fallout 4. It's definitely a great addition to this game, but even beyond that, we can also find recipes randomly placed. Recipes are particularly valuable in this game because if you actually go or look at footage from some crafting tables, you'll realize how few recipes you're given by default. Apparently you'll get more as quest rewards, random drops on enemies, and of course now as being loot in certain locations. We saw the mole people from the trailer and they looked cool and interesting. In game, they are way scarier and way more interesting. I actually saw some footage of this in person, but it was on somebody else's screen. But yeah, these guys are massive and they definitely look like a formidable foe, and in my eyes, one of the most interesting NPCs I've seen thus far. So this guy named Grizz Gaming, and I have a link to his channel in the little card, but also down below, made a video of Fallout 76, and during his playtime, he just ran from one end to the other end of the map. It's very unique footage compared to a lot of the traditional stuff you see of people just doing the major quests, but also he actually runs into the city Watoga that looks massive. It definitely seems like one of the biggest cities I've seen thus far from the gameplay. Who knows if it's actually the biggest city or not, but I know a lot of people are kind of concerned because there isn't a ton of cities in this game. Now we just got to see how our frame rate is in this place in the final build of the game. Very early on in my playthrough, actually trading with the Bethesda developer, I saw a really cool looking 10mm SMG in his inventory. This thing has always been a fan favorite. The mods of this in Fallout 4 always do super well, but fortunately now it'll just be a standard in Fallout 76. And then last but not least, the final one on this list are ammo weight changes. This is actually just a more broader observation from a Reddit post. User Guestspian, I'm definitely pronouncing that wrong, actually compared the ammo weight of things in Fallout 76 versus Fallout 4. Ammo in Fallout 76 is significantly lighter. This is important to know because there is no survival on, survival off. In Fallout 76, ammo always has a weight. You're going to have to make choices as to which ammo you have to carry around. But this post, and more importantly his observations, indicate these choices won't be as stringent or hard to make as they were in Fallout 4 survival mode. And yeah, that's 25 things we learned about Fallout 76 from this gameplay dump. Going through all of this took a long time. Even just making this video took a long time, getting all these clips. If you found something I talked about interesting, check out the links down below. I have them all nicely labeled so you could find the one you want. As always again though, I thank you all for watching. I do hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you found it informative. There should be a lot more content on the way. I definitely am going to make lists of all the weapons, all the creatures we saw, things like that, so you can subscribe if you're interested. But with that, I hope to see you guys all next time. Later.